Oh.
Sexy.
I don't even know what it is.
But
Hmm.
Robert Cobb
I don't
would
either.
stop me every time I'd go up this road and turn left behind Sports Grill. Now it's,
Yeah.
and Robert Cobb would stop me. And he'd say I was doing something, I was speeding, I was drunk, I was something. He came right now, the door of the police office, that's where B.W. James's mother was the what do you call it, magistrate. And he made me hold this flashlight about that long so he could get the right key to make me go there and he could call. And he couldn't find the darn key. And I'm telling you one thing, you little something, you get up there where you belong, do not come back.
I have no idea. You were such a troublemaker. I'm holding you in a new and higher regard.
I tried.
I met your daughter yesterday. She's very nice.
Thank you.
Her husband, I can tell you, he ain't American.
Oh, he's a true New Zealander. He's
I figured it
a,
was New Zealand.
he is a Maori.
Ah.
True
He
blue.
is.
Oh, yeah, he goes back
Yeah.
as far as,
Yeah.
I go back here. Of course.
We had a nice chat.
Somewhere.
Yeah, well, they said they.
By the way, I ID'd him because he was wearing a hat that said, a Rojas.
Right. Did you hear about the one, same name? There was a yacht that sunk partially and rolled over off of the coast of the island somewhere, same name.
They say something, can you hear us? I did not know that.
That was in, I just read it in Wall Street last week. Don't remember, but the captain ran her up on shoal, water and.
Fletcher, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
And that was it.
More evening.
That's a total loss.
I mean, when you ground the keel and you're tied down, your boat's going one direction.
You know, that, was that a, cruise ship? Been maybe 10 years ago, somewhere else.
On the building, yeah.
Yeah, and she got the same thing, and I think they had to cut that thing up all the way.
Well, apparently getting ships off the shoals and
Oh, I
rocks
think
and
it's
mud
impossible.
is a tough thing.
I think it's
Remember the Evergreen by their pier?
sure do, and,
That was 6 feet?
yeah, and then of course, the sister was in the, was it Suez Canal? One day got blocked across the canal and they had X number of weeks, nobody
Got a bunch of-
out. There were 500 cargo ships on one side and 400 on the other. Because, one day got, I think they built the canal and they had X number of weeks, nobody out. There were 500
I was at
cargo ships on one side and 400 on the other. One day got, I think they built the canal and they had X number of weeks, nobody.
May not be only you.
So Matt, this is where we need this. Okay. That's the right one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we ready to get started? All right, let's call this meeting to order. Will you take attendance, please?
Commissioner Byrd,
Present.
Commissioner Dillon,
Here.
Commissioner Foskey,
Here.
he's here via Zoom.
Everybody's
Commissioner Fry,
Here.
Commissioner Tunstall. Here. Chairperson Stratford.
Here.
Okay, quorum is established.
Very good. In your packet that Matt sent out were the minutes from our August meeting. Wonder if you've had time to review them. And
Very good.
in your packet. This meeting? Disconcerting to hear my own voice.
I think she's messing with us.
Review them.
So,
I reviewed them and
I did not see anything.
I
that
didn't see
needs
anything that didn't catch my eye, but I'm no Carol Tunstall, so.
No, no. How many changes you have?
He's always got one.
Yes, item number 7, comprehensive plan update. This says the current plan is 21 years old. The current comprehensive plan from Planning Commission is only 4 years old, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay,
I think 3. actually.
3. Okay, so
Very good. With that change, does anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving on, public comments. Anybody sign up? Or I send, please come on up.
Good evening, Priscilla Hart, 21 Market Street. I have a question. So my first question is, will you be appointing a commissioner tonight to the Planning Commission?
The answer is no.
Okay, thanks.
We,
Okay.
we don't appoint
Oh,
our members.
what do you do?
Uh,
What do you do?
the town council will appoint.
Oh, do you recommend?
We can recommend, yes.
So you will you be interviewing and then I guess you'll make a recommendation?
We
I
will,
looked at the agenda and that's why I'm asking. I
yeah,
didn't
we
know
will
what was
make a
going on.
recommendation.
Okay,
to-
good. Thanks.
You're
That
welcome.
was one question. The other question I had is about HRSD, and I know that's part of your discussion tonight. So I was wondering if during your discussion you could explain whether or not the proposed Coastal Squares development of 465 homes or whatever the number is, has anything to do with the HRSD new zoning plan.
Okay.
So that's a question, because that, I read that is for sale. That whole project is for sale. And I didn't know if anybody knew that, but anyway, just so you know, Chris Carbo is selling that for 600 and I think it was $95,000.
So looking at something down the county.
I know. Yeah, but he's looking at developing that. What he did here is he got all the approvals from the county, but now he is selling that whole development, the whole project. It's for sale. So there goes our water. I have no idea. Just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Casey, did you want to speak?
I just, I don't need the mic, but, I wanted to ask a question about, the procedures for, boundary adjustment, right? Or annexation. I know annexation is a nasty word. Everybody's using boundary adjustment now. And I want to know what your guys' role is in in the sort of boundary adjustment. Do you make recommendations to the town council? I feel like that property on Liberty, where College and Liberty come together, really needs to be part of the town, made part of the town. It has been promoted as something where people could have the advantages of Onancock living without paying town taxes.
Speaking of going out Liberty, out of town limits, or you're not.
Yeah, so what
Liberty
happens
certainly
is-
part of the
Yeah,
town.
well, no, but there's that farmland, which is not actually part of the
That's
town.
right-
It's
that's-
the
Yeah.
new developments on.
Yeah, yeah, there's a new
Cashville.
development starting there, and that's actually not part of the town.
That is correct. It used to be right across that dairy.
Yes, it was a dairy, right. And I'm not sure, you know, I really feel like this is a pressing issue. And I don't know if the initiation of discussion comes from the town, from the planning commission. Strikes to me it ought to, but what I'm suggesting is that, that the planning commission look at this proposed sale of this property for residential use and consider the possibility of annexing it in, before it goes any further into the town, within the town boundaries. Because of the nature, before when the town tried to annex out 13, it kind of did, it looked weird in terms of the town boundaries. And so the county was like, you know, this doesn't make any sense. But this is really, you know, if I go over to, well, the map isn't up, but if, or it is over there, but if I go to the map, what you're going to see is that this looks like property that really should become part of the town proper. Because they're going to make heavy use of town services, but they're not going to pay anything for the honor of doing it. So, but I don't know what the process, it's not clear to me what the process is for considering annexation, whether there needs to be a hearing through, I mean, Matt may know, through the planning commission, and the planning commission makes a recommendation on this, or whether it goes straight to town council. It struck me that you should be a key part of this kind of discussion, but I may not, you know, I'm not clear on what the procedure is. Do you know what the procedure is, Matt? What is it?
Our attorney and county attorney, because it's not side of an incorporated.
Yeah, it's
town,
unincorporated.
Then there would need to be a survey done to define the exact boundaries. And then there would be public hearings for both the both the county and the town.
Okay,
And at that point, the county supervisors and the town council would vote. And at that point, the planning commission would make a recommendation on zoning.
oh, okay. It struck me as, you know, it's still not clear to me where the initiation is though, right? Does the initiation saying we need to consider this as annexation, we need to begin the process of talking with the county attorneys and stuff like that? Where does that begin? Does it begin with this unit? Does it begin committee? Does it begin with town council? Where does it
Council
begin?
would typically instruct me to begin the conversation.
Okay. Okay. You guys are not in the loop on this, it sounds like.
No, and quick question about that.
That's actually key for that space. The reason that it's in play is because county has a 3-acre minimum requirement for housing on farmland and for a subdivision. And that's not profitable for any developer ever. But we have a 10,000 square foot minimum, which would become a profitable enterprise if somebody decided to take that development up.
Yeah, I should know this, but watching those developments or those houses go up, I did once see a Bundick truck out there. Are they going to be on county, I mean, on town water and sewer?
No, the nearest manhole for sewer is on at the corner of College and Liberty. It's 1,278
Right,
feet
okay.
from that spot. The town rules are that after 25 feet, the developer has to pay $200 per linear
Right,
foot
yeah.
to run the line the rest of the way. For 1,278 feet, that was over $250,000. So we gave them a pass on sewer. Water runs right by their front door, so we are going to provide water services to those. Now, keep in mind, there's only one parcel that's inside of an ANCOG. So we're going to provide that one parcel, which will have 3 small homes on it, water services, but they will have septic, which I'm disappointed about. But
Yeah, that's not great. And it strikes me that Liberty property, if we get it, if it is annexed, then it also needs to come into our sewer as well as our water, right? That it becomes part of the whole package. I just see
that would be
something,
insurance fees.
yeah.
they want to be able to plug into the
Right.
sewer. That's one of the main attractions.
Right, right. So any rate, this is kind of floating out there and it's a little worrisome. So if planning commission, would like to take a more of a role in it, maybe they could do so. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man.
All right, item 5 on the agenda is rezoning application. This was,
Let me talk this through because.
Please.
I don't know if it's changed a little bit. What happened was, someone purchased the house at 77 Kirk. And started clearing around the outside. They've done a really, an amazing job thus far, just cleaning it up. They wanted, it was in 1960, I believe, it was constructed as a duplex. But it's been left blighted and abandoned for well over a year. In order for a property to maintain its duplex status, or somebody's at my door. So if they're going to retain their status, which is called non-conforming, they would have had to have had a tenant in the last year. They obviously have not, and therefore I looked at the easiest way to make that possible would be to have that property rezoned. What I didn't realize is that the new owner does not speak English, and he's been going through his contractor to get all these applications filled out. And he is going to live in one side of the duplex. That changes the application requirements. All R1 residences allow for one apartment with a special use permit. So what I'm going to do to the contractor and then through the translator to the owner is have him fill out a special use permit. I'll refund the amount that was given to us for the rezoning application, then it will stay an R1C and it'll be a one apartment. That was one of the things that was new terminology for me. It was a duplex is actually a residence with one apartment, not considered a duplex. So that's where I got confused at the beginning. But then once Fletcher actually talked with me about the fact that this is allowed in all R1 areas, all R1 zones, it is one home with one apartment, and that's what a duplex is. So I'll have the contractor fill out a new special use permit application, and I'll present that. It's going to have to be next time. And that's too bad because they've got their electrical work. They've already put the roof on. They've already put new windows in. They're eager to find out whether they've got to tear out that center wall. So we're doing all we can.
If that's not the definition of a duplex, is there a more stringent definition, like 2 driveways?
I haven't seen anything in our code that specifically defines a duplex, but it does speak to a residence with one apartment. And Fletcher, I don't know if we can hear you, but did that line up with what your understanding is? He's been on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't. Duplex is really not defined. I think it's just apartment in an existing dwelling. Yeah.
Can you say something, Fletcher?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, I don't. Duplex is really not defined. I think it's just apartment in an existing dwelling. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my understanding after we had the conversation as well. There's some feedback that it's all right.
That's you.
So, yeah, so thanks, Fletcher. That was helpful and it lines up with what I just said.
well, going back to a conversation you and I had earlier today about we have a potentially, depending on the action we take with the HRSD, we might have a joint meeting with the town council. Could we not take this up at that point?
A special use permit technically doesn't need doesn't need you to have a hearing.
Okay.
It requires the town council to have a hearing, and yes, they would.
They would.
So
they could actually get this done this week.
Down the road
Yeah.
until Next,
This month, I mean.
yeah, I could put it on there. You know, and if you wanted to make sort of have a conversation and then make a verbal, you know, recommendation or not, staff will be making a recommendation that they honor the special use or approve the special use permit.
Okay.
Based on owner residency.
Okay, well, I don't know that our recommendation is required or all that important, but do you all have an opinion, and we'll share it with the town council?
I think anything they can do to help develop that quadrant of town is useful. I don't think,
Turns an abandoned building into an occupied one.
yeah, I mean, regulation has its place, but this doesn't feel appropriate.
Agree totally.
Okay,
Anything to bring people closer to us.
Well, let them know that, you know, that planning commission came to general consensus that they would also approve a special use permit application, even though you're not required.
okay. It would be nice to allow them to continue to make progress.
I can't believe the change in the corner of that part of town. It really is remarkable.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
Very good. Item number 6 is the resolution HRSD. Matt, you want to walk us through this?
Yes. If you remember, it must be 2 or 3 years ago, we created a zoning district called IU, which is Industrial Utilities. That zoning district requires rules that you have to follow in that district. So just like we just discussed with R1, you're allowed to do this with a special use permit. IU didn't have any of those rules assigned. The HRSD is eager, as we are, to take over the collection system. They have the plant, which is the processing part of the system, but they do not own the collection system, which is all the underground stuff. The way that they will do that is they will transfer ownership from us or the current owner of the land that the pump stations sit on. They will transfer ownership from us and the owner over to HRSD. At that point, the pump stations have IU designation for the zoning, but now they have to have the rules that HRSD has to follow for all the pumping stations inside the town. As an update, we have 6 pump stations. 3 of them belong to us, so obviously there's clean title. 2 others have been, the owners have been accepting to the idea. Because you do need to provide an easement for them to gain access. You have to do certain things, you know, your mortgage company, if you have a mortgage, has to approve the transfer of a portion of the land that they're lending on.
So 3 of them are on private property?
Yeah, 3 of them are on private property, 3 of them are on public property. And then one last one is up at an apartment complex that has several mortgages on the land, and each mortgage company has to approve the transfer of that land in order to have it transfer over to HRSD. That's become a very complicated process. So in the meantime, Sands Anderson, who is representing HRSD in this process, wrote the ordinance and the resolution that are in your packet. They're both virtually identical. The ordinance provides sort of the launching pad for the council to vote on the resolution. So the way this will work is on the 28th at a joint public hearing, you will vote on the ordinance, and then town council will vote on the ordinance, and then you will vote on the resolution, and then town council will vote on the resolution, and then those rules for the IU will become in effect immediately. That means that when the pump stations transfer ownership, HRSD has all the guidelines they need for how they can operate and what they can do inside that district. Does that all make sense?
It does.
No,
These property owners get any money?
no. Well, that's also up to HRSD, but their council is adamant that they're not gonna pay for the land.
It's a lot of process and the mortgage companies have to sign off, right?
Yes, the mortgage companies have to sign off. We have one of the property owners who didn't have a mortgage, so that was dead easy. We have another one who had a mortgage. The mortgage company has given approval. We don't have it in writing yet. And then the third, which has become very, very complicated.
The apartment
because of the
complex.
apartment complex and the multiple mortgages.
So have we had our council review? Okay,
Now, Sands Anderson sent it to me for conceptual approval. I made some strike throughs and then sent it to Eric, our counsel. He also made some comments and edits. We sent it back to Sands Anderson. They made comments and edits. So this has been going on for probably 3.5 to 4 months now.
okay.
At this point, both HRSD counsel and the town's attorney have all blessed these, and I have as well, based on the operations and the consistency with other zoning districts.
Okay.
So what would happen if 5 of them were fine and they couldn't get approval for the 6th pumping station?
They will get approval for the 6. They would use eminent domain.
Okay.
They're trying to avoid that at all costs. It's a long process and it's expensive for attorneys.
Anybody else have any questions for Matt? No.
So tonight,
Information only.
Okay.
October 28th is when you'll be asked to vote on the ordinance, and then subsequently, assuming that town council votes affirmatively on the ordinance,
ordinance.
then you would vote on the resolution, and they would also do the same.
Okay, has council seen this?
Yes, they saw it last month. It was confused last month in their meeting, so actually we're doing it correctly this time. It's being, advertised properly. It's being, managed properly, and it's gonna go perfectly smooth. From your lip.
You'll need to get a.
Which is the property that would potentially be taken by eminent domain? Is it that apartment building?
Well, it wouldn't be the building, it would be the
Right,
land.
the land.
Easement surrounding the pump station.
The one with many mortgages?
Yes.
Very good. So we're just, this was just informational. We have a meeting in
That's correct,
October
yeah,
with the
October
town
28th.
council.
That's exactly right. So,
If you all can put on your calendar that we will have a joint town council planning commission meeting.
It's going on the
October
town
28th.
calendar, right? I'm sorry, Scott.
I'm
didn't
sure it
mean to-
will. Okay.
yes, yeah, it'll go on the town calendar. It's already been advertised once, so it'll be advertised again. Probably this Friday. Yes, certainly this Friday.
So if you just put it on the calendar, that's good. All right. Commissioner comments are next. Anybody have anything that they'd like to bring up? Carol? Larry? Jake? No, I don't have anything. Okay. Next up is closed session.
Yeah, there's a special motion
Oh.
you need to use.
Oh. Okay. I move that we enter closed session to discuss personnel matters per 2.2371A to discuss appointment of commissioner to fill vacancy. I move that we oh, no, that's for later. Yes.
You made the motion. We need a second.
Okay.
Please second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, then we do this in my office.
Hey, I'm gonna ring off. Thanks. Okay.